unfortunately missed you, but you actually I was just at an event that you played at the Bill Graham a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to start
2
off
weeks
this
ago.
interview by just asking you, how was tour of BTSM? That's freaking huge, man.
It was wild. Lots of flights.
Yeah.
I'm recovered now, but I didn't go on the bus because it was mainly a bus tour. But Aaron Heritage went on the bus, and I don't know if I could be stuck in a little box like that on wheels for that long. I used to back in my band days, like, it was over a decade ago by now, but I don't know if I could do that anymore. I'd rather just get up stupid early and catch a flight.
How many shows were there? How many did you actually play? Did you play the whole tour, or did you just?
I didn't play the whole tour. I think it was, I don't know, 13 or 14 shows. Okay. So like, probably just under half, I think.
Yeah. So
I know Aaron played all of them, and.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys did the back-to-back, like for the whole time that he played. You were with him.
No, we. The only dates I played were back-to-backs, but he was on the tour anyway.
Got it. You mentioned that you were in a band previously. Take me to that point, because that's obviously kind of probably where you kind of started your musical journey. What was that band about? What genre was it? Can you kind of give me some background?
It was metal. I know that's really shocking.
Yeah.
But it was metal. It's actually Christian metal.
Interesting.
So I was raised with a very religious background. But yeah, that's where I learned. Actually, I lied my way into the band. I know it's not very Christian of me, but I always been obsessed with music, always, like since I was just a tiny little kid, and I still am. I'm still the exact same way, but my first job ever was at this ice cream shop, okay? And one of the fellow scoopers was in this band, and he's like, hey, you should come see us play. I'm like, all right, that's cool, no problem. I'll come see, because I love metal. I've literally always been about metal. So I went and saw him, like, man, I want to do this. This is cool. It was like in this little garage kind of venue, and it was just wild. People were just, doing their hardcore shit. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna try to join this band. I'm like, this is my in for music, and I didn't play any instruments or anything, like, at all. But so I talked to him, like, man, that was a sick show. I'm like, you need another guitar player? I'm like, and he's like, yeah, actually we do. You play guitar? I'm like, absolutely.
Absolutely not.
I'm like, give me 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. So I just frantically learned how to play guitar. And then I obviously did it well enough because I joined it. And then I ended up being, like, after a year, he left. And then I ended up being the only guitar player. And then I learned a lot about songwriting and a lot about just a lot about music.
Everything, yeah.
I'd always been listening to it, but that was my first opportunity to actually practice it.
How far did you guys go with that band? Was it just local show type stuff, or?
No, we did a couple tours. We went around the country a little bit. That's why I said we were in a van.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I'm not trying to do that anymore.
Yeah, for real. And especially, I was just talking to my guest last week about, like, how much different, because he came from the band world as well, and just how much different, like, touring and, like, how you have to be at the venue. Like, he was saying how you have to show up to the venue at, like, noon sometimes, and when your show's at, like, 9 o'clock, like, all, like, the sound check and, like, just all of the behind the scene works for a band is next level. So yeah,
it is. It is. I mean, it's easier to some extent now with electronic music because, I don't have to bring a lot of stuff.
Right. USB in a flight.
But the crews,
yeah,
especially when you're bringing your own production, that is just as strenuous as, if not more so. Actually, it's definitely more so than like a...
Yeah. And today's technology and stuff too, it's like with all the screens and fire and all the extra pyro stuff and... Yeah, all that stuff is insane. So I want to dive into your project a little bit. I think you have an awesome just dichotomy. I mean, it all falls under like a dark. Your branding is kind of a dark on both sides. But your social media is very different than your music, and I want to talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
Where did those two things stem from, and was it a struggle for you to combine both comedy and like what your music is about?
No, it wasn't a struggle. It was more of like a relief because, when I started this, when I decided to make electronic music, there was not really anything dark at all. And I think the closest would be like Drezo, and he's, definitely, he makes really dark music, but like, I wanted to do something way different. So I tried to make some really dark, like I tried making house, like really dark house, kind of like Drezo. But literally like 1 or 2 songs. And then I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And then I just kind of rethought what I was doing. But like I liked some of the aspects of what I was doing, but also I didn't really know how to do a lot at that time. Right. This is like 4 years ago. So it's like I was kind of limited on what my brain could let me produce. So I just kind of went back to the drawing board, and I talked to some other people that I had met, and I just decided to go absolutely ham into the orchestral and super symphonic stuff once I learned how to do that, because that had a long learning curve.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, and I feel like there's not many people that do that, your specific style, so it's kind of like, where was the blueprint to kind of follow and learn from?
Well, the blueprint is easy. That's not in electronic music at all. It's
right.
I don't listen to electronic music still. Like, I do a little bit. Like, yeah, because like I like, but I should rephrase. I don't listen to like dubstep or EDM or mid tempo. I don't listen to any of that kind of stuff, like dance music. Right. I don't listen to it all. I listen to like my favorite band on earth is Rammstein, the German industrial metal band, and all my influences are definitely industrial. 9 Inch Nails, that's one of my favorite bands. Rammstein, 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
So Rammstein has this, they influence me more than I could even really express. But although the music I make is nothing like theirs, because, they're very band focused, but I wanted to make music that could be played by a band, but it's not. It's made by, played by software.
Right.
And I also don't necessarily try to make virtual instruments sound like real instruments either. Besides the strings and the choirs and stuff, everything else is just kind of like reminiscent of, my main sounds kind of sound like chugging guitars from metal, but like they're not. They're electronic sounds. But like all that kind of stuff, I use a lot of double kick. Like metal uses. And eventually, at first I just tried to experiment with trying to make metal-y sounding electronic music, but it didn't really fit right. So it was a long time of experimenting and figuring out how the fuck I wanted to do what my brain wanted to do, but I eventually found out, or I eventually figured it out by pretty much pure accident. A main sound, like, all artists have like their main sound, like their main sense that they use. And like, when you hear that, you're like, oh, that's blah, blah, blah. Well, mine was a total accident, completely and totally by accident. I was just messing around with Serum and a bunch of just putting guitar amps on shit and everything. And then I just like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. And I still use that to this day. And then I just kind of go off of that. But
I feel like even going back to like your tour with VTSM, a lot of their newer music is very like orchestral and stuff like that. But like other than them, and I guess not even in like a bass music category, I think Kashmir is like the other one that's like very cinematic.
Dude, Kashmir is his music is insane.
Very good music. Yes.
It's now that's an exception. Like that, I actually do like Kashmir a lot, and I do occasionally put on his shit. And Apache is another one.
Oh, Apache, yeah, that's what it is. Yep.
Apache is just ridiculous too.
He just scored a movie. I forget what it was. Something for Disney, I want to say.
I know he did a trailer for them, or they used one of his songs in a trailer. I didn't know that he scored a movie. That's fucking dope.
He was gonna score a movie. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you think over when you like how you're like all or nothing, you put 100% into everything, no matter if it's healthy or not? Do you think? Because I can relate with this on, I guess, the healthier side. But I guess my question is, do you think it's aided you in taking your music career so far? Because you do have,
Absolutely.
I definitely think you almost kind of have to be like that to a certain degree to do anything entrepreneurial or creative for a career.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a struggle. But in this case, it works out for my benefit for sure.
Yeah, definitely. On the flip side of that, though, kind of on a lighter note, you do have a very unique and your own little like style of comedy that you portray on your social media. My first question is that you like all the time in real life, just kind of you just take them to the next level and post it, or do you have help with some of your comedy stuff and your social media, or how did that kind of get developed?
Oh no, so I do it all myself. I haven't done it a ton lately because I've been very honestly just been in a bad place recently. Just a lot of things have happened, and I'm not gonna the reason why I'm still here and still going is I'm not gonna force myself to do something for social media because I don't want to.
Yes.
Or if I don't want to,
Yep.
like I'll do that for work. Yes, social media is part of work because Swarm is work, but that's a different thing. Social media is this new beast that nobody really knows kind of how to deal with, except to be totally obsessed with it and put it before everything else. And I don't feel that way at all. Now I definitely do have urges. Like I feel pressure to post, a lot or make, but like if I'm not in a good mood and I try to do a funny video because I know it's gonna it's gonna do well for me online, it's not gonna be funny. Like it's just gonna be depressing and weird, and so yeah, I do all that myself. Literally, the other room has my green screen in it. Just, the spare room next to my studio here. I have all the lights and all the mics and all that kind of stuff. But I just learned how to do it. How it came about, I did this. I was playing in Denver like 2.5 years ago, and we were one of my friends. Actually, you had her, Kate Sounder.
Oh yeah, Sounder. Yeah.
She
just did a song with Kaiwachi.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. She's incredible. She was on. That's how I got connected with
originally.
You,
that's how. Yeah,
that's how I found it, and that was what. Yeah, but she lived there at the time, so she went to me and my manager at the time was. She took us up to the mountains, and I don't know why, but I'm just like, let's film like a documentary, a faux documentary, like a mockumentary of me explaining nature to the camera. But I'm like, I'm just gonna wing it. I'm not gonna like plan anything, and I'm just gonna say everything wrong, because I do like humor. I love comedy, But I didn't think that it would work with what I do. But then, also, honestly, like looking at a lot of the bands that I like, or they do have like a dark ironic humor side to them. So I'm like, you know what, I'll try it. Because honestly, like being so serious online is stupid. People will see through it if it's not authentic. Yep. So like that was the last piece of the puzzle. It's like something doesn't feel right about this. There's something I'm missing, and that was it. It was because now everything you see online is just my personality. Yes, I have the serious as a heart attack music because my brain never stops spinning for good or bad. But also, like I'm a normal person. I have good moods.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And when I'm in a good mood, I'm a fucking goofball. And like, so showing both of it seemed to be the best way to. I could be totally myself and not have to filter out anything at all.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's just the best way to go about it, because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I have to force myself to be this way because this is what my brand is, versus like where you've taken it to like the next level of like, I'm just going to put all of me into the brand. Yeah. And you've done a very good job at like doing it in your own way, I guess, and like making sure that you showcase all of the sides to you, because I feel like that's super important to build, I was listening to your interview with Lizzie Jane earlier, and how she was saying how like you have almost like a cult type following, and I feel like that's because you took it to the next level and you showcase all of you, and people actually know like the real you instead of just like what your brand is. If that makes sense.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, brands. Everything's about the brand now.
I know.
Like,
yeah.
Why? I wear anything that I wear on stage or. In pictures or anything Swarm, anything dark and weird, or, boots and nail polish and eyeliner and shit. Like, that's all shit I already wear. Like,
yeah.
It's just what it is. And so I literally don't have to do anything except make and post things I like. Now, it's not that easy at the end of the day because I still have to figure out stuff to do, and I fucking hate it, to be honest. But like, you know, I'm just not, like, especially last year, like I just had so many ideas for stupid fucking videos. I did so many that like I had to take a break from it this year because like I literally I got COVID at like the beginning of the year and I just was out, and it sent me down a spiral of other things, and it's just like, so I'm getting back around now, but it's fun. Under normal circumstances, it makes it really fun to just completely be myself.
The reason why I asked you earlier too with if you have any help on your social media, because your fiance now she does that for a living, right? She's a social media director.
Yes.
So that's kind of why I asked, because I was like, well, he is engaged to her. I don't know if
people, that's the thing people assume.
Yeah.
Honestly, because like, but it's I'll give her credit where credit's due. Absolutely. If she just thinks of a funny idea, and it's like, hey, here's a video idea, then and then like I always credit her if it was her idea, but I still do it all myself. That's also cool. And she does get on me. She's like, hey, you haven't posted in 2 weeks. Like, you need to post. It's like, fuck.
You're right.
those are the two things.
Yeah.
If she was running my social media would be a lot better. I promise.
That's cool that you guys like was it hard for you to like figure out though, like in the early days of like putting yourself out there with like all that you've been through and stuff? Like, was it kind of a hard thing managing your mental health? Because I know that's a huge topic with like social media stuff.
Oh, it is. It still is.
Was it hard for you to like start that trajectory to like growing in social media and like doing what you do with it now?
Honestly, when I started, so the answer to that question, when to growing it, like the first few years, like I wasn't bothered at all. That had no really effect on my mental health because, one, I had nothing to prove because like I'd never done this before. Two, like I was just like a whole new world had opened up before me because I was just coming out of like a really destructive period in my life, and I was learning these new things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, when I make electronic music, you can literally make anything you want. It could be any sound, any genre, everything. So it's like, wow, dude, like I can express myself so many ways now. So like the social media part, no, it didn't bother me at all. It bothers me now. Yeah. But like I try not to think about that because if I keep that at the forefront or even remotely at the forefront more than necessary, it's gonna drag me down really bad.
Yeah. So keep it on the topic of mental health and stuff. What with your anorexia, you mentioned that there was a lot of mental health stuff that came along with that. What in specific, if you don't mind sharing, have you gone through and with your mental health, and how have you like kind of overcome that?
So it would basically be, like I said earlier, there's this, even after you recover physically and all that kind of stuff, there's still this gnawing voice that stays in the back of your head every time you eat normal food or something that isn't super, whatever, healthy or whatever. Because I try to be healthy, but balancing out healthy and eating disorder is really different. I bet, so it's, there's always that. And so, there's been a couple times, there's been plenty of times where I've just been out to eat at a restaurant and I just have kind of a panic attack because I'm just like, what is in this food? This can't be healthy, blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
Like, that is a constant thing, especially traveling a lot.
Yeah.
Having very limited options when I'm in a hotel in San Francisco or LA or Phoenix or whatever. It's like, what do I have available to me? I have to eat. Like, I know that the show will probably have pretzels and what else? I'm lucky there'll be if I'm lucky there'll be a protein shake or something. But like, so that is a constant struggle of being okay and being okay with not being in control. And I think that's That's what I realized talking with my therapist and all the things we worked through for years with him. It was all about control and being in control, and how I felt like the rest of my life was out of control.
Yeah.
And so that I still have issues with that, especially when things with whatever, with my music, if I'm at a creative block, or I'm going through something on the business side, or even just personally, I'm just, sad. I feel like I don't, self-image issues, it can really spike, and it still does. And so I really, it's a struggle when that happens, but the trade-off is I have a really unique, not unique, but it is unique because it's just me. Nobody else can go through exactly what I've been through. But
right. Yeah.
It gives me a unique perspective on life. It gives a unique perspective to my music because of how mental health focused all of my lyrics are, mm-hmm. and how authentic and how earnest the emotional side of what I do is. And I try to, not only that, I when I play live, if anybody's ever seen me live that's watching this, that I have never played a show without saying something about mental health before I'm done. I don't preach at people, but right. I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm just trying to tell people that it's okay, that things suck for everyone, and you're worth it, and that they're special and loved, and even if they don't feel like it, they're worth sticking around and all that kind of stuff, because there's a lot of times that I would want somebody to tell that to me, and I feel like if I was going to see somebody that I really liked, like an artist, and if I was struggling and they stopped before they were done to say that, I'd be like, whoa. So hopefully,
I'm just talking for me right now, but I know I appreciate it when I've had my own, struggles in life and stuff like that, and I always appreciate it when I see you or anyone else that takes the time to, even guys like Alinium and stuff like that, who's also kind of focused on that area and those topics as well. I always really, really appreciate it, so I appreciate you for doing so. Yeah.
I appreciate you for appreciating me. Yeah, that the industry is a fickle beast.
Yes.
And I've never fought against the getting into the worst mental state I've ever been in every day than I do with this music industry. But again, I've just gone back to basics. I'm focusing on making music that I love and expressing myself. So mm-hmm. all that other shit can go to hell. I don't give a fuck.
And
I'm not trying to compete with anybody.
Yep. That's very, very important. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the politics of the music industry, and my question is mainly just how have you balanced, and you kind of just said it, but how have you balanced your mental health while dealing with some of the political side of everything?
Staying in therapy. Now I've recently realized that I let it slip a little bit. I left 2 or 3 months I went without seeing him regularly. And I always forget that every time I do that. Yeah, every time I do that, everything just bottles up. And I'm every time I'm why can't I make music? Why does it feel like everything I do sucks? Why am I so unhappy? Why am I, whatever? And I'm just I have not seen David in a while, so I'm going to go do that. And I just started that back up 2 weeks ago. And
oh, good. Now that tour's finally over.
Yeah, it's so easy. Just let it to say oh, I'm home. I'm glad to be home. I feel okay now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna go today. I just got home yesterday. I'm not gonna go today. I just got home 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go today. I'm about to leave again. It's so easy to keep doing that, and then before you know it, it's oh fuck. But that's what's kept me on track a lot of the time, most of the time. It's not even about the politics necessarily. It's more of the
just the lifestyle about it, probably.
Well, the lifestyle is a choice.
That's true.
That's not. If you don't want to go party, you don't have to go party. I don't. I go right back to my hotel after I meet people. I prioritize meeting people and talking to people that came there to see me.
Yeah.
And then I go home because I don't want to party. don't like
smart.
that. I want to go to bed.
Yeah. That's all, man. I'm 20, I'll be 25 in a couple months, but that's what people even now, like, I'm like, even at festivals, like, people are like, oh, are you going to go hard with us? I'm like, dude, it's a little different when you're like, you actually participate in like the music business and like you go for different reasons. Yep. And like, it's like I want longevity out of it too. Not just like, yeah, you can turn up, that's cool, but how long can you really do that for?
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's the other thing.
It's important to take care of yourself.
No, it is. And
yeah.
I can't be doing all that stuff because I'm going to fall apart. It's hard enough to wake up early now as it is,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I need, plus, like, you think about it, like, the way I look at it, at least, like, my career depends on my brain functioning okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to risk it.
Yep.
So it's just not for me. But I've never really been that person. I'm a loner, so.
Yeah.
I know it's really funny that I'm up there playing, but I usually have trouble going to the grocery store.
Damn.
Half the time, like I'm already like paranoid, like, oh god, they're looking at me. Fuck. It's like I could go up on stage, no problem.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple shows in that tour where like we played like the Bill Graham Center or the First Bank Center in Denver, the Shrine in LA. Like those are really big places, and those are
very big rooms.
It's like, oh, no, I'm good. But it's like, walking in a restaurant to get food at the hotel is like a no.
What do you think the difference is for you for that?
I have no idea.
No,
I have absolutely no idea.
I just think it'd be like the opposite.
I think I just when I'm on stage, I'm expressing myself and I'm putting on a show, and that's something I've always been good at. Is like I can do the theatrics and all that kind of stuff because like I want to do it. I just have a hard time doing anything I really don't want to do.
Right.
Like if I love something, I'm gonna do it.
That's how I was at school.
Yeah, no,
I hated school.
I was homeschooled, so I don't.
Okay.
So, but that's probably a thing where I get it from, though, is because I found ways of getting out of things I didn't want to do.
Well, we are kind of running out of time here, but before we wrap up, I do like to kind of ask the last few closing questions. One is, what are you most excited about coming up for this year? Any new music, any tours, any big festivals this summer?
Festival part, I can't really, well, I mean, I guess Bass Canyon was announced, so that'll be fun.
Yep.
There are no other ones that I can talk about right now, but
got it.
There's on my website, houseofswarm.com, there's a list of all the shows I'm playing. I'll be in Montana in like a week and a half. Bozeman, I heard Bozeman goes really hard, which is hilarious. That? I don't know. It's Bozeman, Montana. It's Montana, but like I talked to people like, like y'all ever played in Montana? Like, wait, is it Bozeman? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, it's fucking crazy. I'm like, what? I haven't even heard of Bozeman.
Yeah, where's Bozeman?
But like, I guess we'll see. But I am just finished my next single, and I mean I have several that are done and waiting. I'm working with some really cool bands that I've looked up to for a while that I can't say anything yet. But
early congrats.
Some really cool shit is coming for sure. Excellent. That is what I can say for sure, for certain.
Awesome. Keeping up the grind. I'm excited to hear what I've really been loving your music since you discovered the show and stuff. I've gone back and listened to a lot of your music, and
that's awesome. Thank you.
I really love your music, so I'm excited for what's to come from you.
Sick. Thanks.
How can listeners get in touch with you?
My website, houseofswarm.com, or Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Excellent.
All at House of Swarm. All the same thing. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man. This is a lot of fun.
Absolutely. One last final question I ask at the end of every interview. If you could tell yourself one piece of advice when you first started your Swarm project, what would it be?
One piece of advice. That would be believe in yourself, and that this shit is going to suck. The industry part of the music industry, or especially the electronic music industry, is brutal.
Yes.
It is a backbiting high school drama, and focus on you and what you do and what you love, and the rest will come. Do not get caught up in thinking you deserve something when you don't. And or even regardless if you do or don't, just don't ever expect anything, and appreciate every little thing that happens.